Today on Curiosity Kitten, I show you how to make this baked brie. Welcome to Curiosity Kitten. Hi friends, I'm Stephanie, and I make videos attempting to demystify making, arts, crafts, baking, and making in general. I do this by showing projects, including the setbacks, mistakes, and experimentation. Making things is not a perfect process. Errors will be made, but learning from the mistakes and finding a solution is part of the fun. For our baked brie today, we are starting with putting some parchment down on a baking sheet. Taking the brie out of the package and unwrapping it. Cutting a slice around the circumference about midway through, because we're slicing the entire piece in half in order to put some goodies in the middle. So once that's done, you take some preferably unflavored dental floss and place it in the slit. And then pull to slice the entire thing in half. You can do this crossover method. To get it the rest of the way through. Et voila. Now we have two halves. And then we take some chopped walnuts, with walnuts and cranberries. I do recommend putting them in a bowl together just to get a better mix across the surface. And I'm mixing the two components, breaking up the chunks of cranberries, dump it onto one half, and then spread it around. You want to get a fairly even covering. And then press the top half onto it. And then because this entire disc will be wrapped in dough, I set it aside, reusing the wrapping that it came in. And I'm using phyllo dough for this. I do realize partway through that I should have been using puff pastry instead, but it's still dough wrapped around cheese, so it still tasted good. When working with phyllo dough, you do need to let it sit out so that it can thaw, making the sheets malleable. This was honestly the first time I'd ever used phyllo dough, and I'm looking forward to using the rest in some other projects in the future. I don't remember exactly how many sheets I used, but it wasn't a ton. And then I'm going to roll up the rest and set it aside because I'm not going to use it. So I've realized at this point that I'm using the wrong type of dough. So now I'm just making these parts up. Mistakes will be made, errors will be made, and so now we're making the best of it. And so I'm crisscrossing the dough to kind of get full coverage when I envelop the cheese inside the dough. So I think there's maybe 3 pieces for each of those crisscrosses. Get it loaded into the center, and then I'm going to make an egg wash, which is just taking an egg, cleaning up my workspace with throwing away the trash, and then I put a little bit of water in the egg, and then I'll whisk it together. It just makes the egg more fluid. And you're using the egg wash in this instance as a glue. And later on you'll see me add some to the top for browning purposes. So now I'm just tucking and folding all of the dough around the cheese disc. I know that makes it sound really appetizing, a cheese disc. My friend and I went to a restaurant last night, and one of the offerings said that it came with your choice of sliced meat. That did not sound appetizing. And here I'm using a pastry brush to brush the egg wash onto the different folds, as I said, to act as a glue. And we put parchment paper down so it doesn't matter how sloppy you are, it'll just get on the parchment and cook in the oven. And fold everything back up. Oops. More glue. And then I flip the whole thing over so that all the seams are on the bottom. And then I press everything to make sure it's adhering to itself. Found a piece that was still sticking out, so added some more glue adhesive. And then it's ready for the oven. And this is baking at 425 degrees for 25 minutes. And then I pulled it out of the oven. Was curious if it was done. Remembered that I needed an egg wash. Forgot I needed an egg wash for the top, so I had dumped the original one, so I had to make another. And instead of using the pastry brush, which I had thrown in the sink, I'm just using the fork that I used to whisk it and spreading the egg around the top. And then I put it back in the oven, and that just goes a little bit longer, maybe 5 minutes, to let it get brown. Now I'm going to put it on this. Got all oozy. And then we'll have to let this sit and cool. Now we're going to cut into the brie to see what it looks like. Very crispy. Very oozy. and very messy, but it looks delicious. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. It is very good, very creamy, very rich, and the cranberry cuts through the brie flavor to make it not as rich. And the walnuts really add to the richness of it. Yeah, I don't know that the phyllo dough added anything to it, but it helped contain the brie so it didn't ooze everywhere. But it's really good.
Tell me that you're going to make baked brie.
I'm going to make baked brie. And we can put this over here. Obviously, we'll eat that. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos in the future, please hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like announcements of when a new video is available, ring the little bell. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I hope to see you next time on Curiosity Kitten, where I demystify making.